Welcome to the presentation on setting target specifications. This comes directly after or with benchmarking. The purpose of setting target specifications is so you can set goals for your design. By looking at what other people have done with benchmarking and by understanding the problem, what the customer wants, you should be able to come up with some performance goals for your product. Well, let's go over this. I'll just start off with an example. This is an example of 6 different shock absorbers for bicycles, mountain bike suspension forks. When these shock absorbers are evaluated by people designing bicycles, and they want to pick out the right shock for the right front fork for the bicycle, they look for lots of different metrics, lots of different measurements. Here are some of there are 26 of them on this list, including everything attenuation from dropout to handlebar at 10 hertz. You know what attenuation is. Attenuation means a reduction in vibration. So this is the vibration isolation metric. Spring preload tells how stiff it is. So anyway, lots of different metrics, and these metrics are very useful in evaluating the front forks to pick out the best design. So what we want you to do in the Mini Project 2 is, using some metrics that we have determined for you, which are called criteria, obviously, from surveys we have done, we want you to pick out or choose some goals of where you think your smoky cooking stove should fit in these criteria. And so we start with a benchmarking matrix. This benchmarking matrix has all those 26 different metrics down the left-hand side, and across the top it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shock absorbers, 6 different front forks. The ST Tri-Track, the Manoray 2, the Roxtax Quadra, the Roxtax TI-21, the Tonka Pro, and the Gunhill head shocks. They have taken measurements of all these 26 different metrics on all 5 shocks. So they have a huge amount of data here. And the purpose is to figure out if you're going to be designing another fork for the industry, you want to know where your fork fits. Is it the best one? Is it sort of in the middle of the pack? Is it at the end of the pack? Hopefully it's not the worst one, but if it's the best one, that means you can actually charge more for it. But if you want to go with a low cost model, you might not be able to get the best performance, so you might want to be in the middle of the pack somewhere. So there are the 5 different front forks, and we're going to look at the minimum descent time for these and analyze where we want our fork to fit in this range of values for how long it took to go down on the track. So if we look at the numbers are 13, 11.3, 12.6, 11.2, 13.2, and 11. And if we plot those on a graph, we can actually, excuse me, it's actually much easier for us to see the range of values and which front forks are the best and which aren't good. Now remember, we want a low time. We want a low time on this. The low time means we've gone down the track faster, so it's a better front fork. So when we plot them, and we want you to do this on Mini Project 2, we want you to plot the benchmarked values for the 5 criteria or 6 criteria we've given you. So you'll come up with a graph for each one. Smokiness, cost, etc. So here's an example of what we expect to see from you for each one of the criteria for the smoky stove. Something like this. And then some arrow on the side or some indication of where you want your product to fit.